President Trump has signed an executive order he says will end the weaponization of the federal government and transform both the DOJ and FBI. Well, joining us now to discuss this is former FBI agent and former Chicago Police Commissioner Jody Weis. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us here. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good seeing you.
Now, here's what part of the executive order states. I want to read just a part of this. It states, the prior administration and allies throughout the country engaged in an unprecedented third world weaponization of prosecutorial power to upend the democratic process. It targeted individuals who voiced opposition to the prior administration's policies with numerous federal investigations and politically motivated funding revocations, which cost Americans access to needed services. The Department of Justice even jailed an individual for posting a political meme. Many of these activities appear to be inconsistent with the Constitution and or the laws of the United States, including those activities directed at parents protesting at school board meetings, Americans who spoke out against the previous administration's actions, and other Americans who were simply exercising constitutionally protected rights. I just wanted to go over this just so that folks know exactly what this order is about. Jody, since you were part of the FBI, how has it changed? Have standards now become optional?
You know, Jan, I think you talk about standards. I think they've disappeared. Let's go back for a couple minutes and look at some of the events under Comey. I mean, he bragged on television how he tricked General Flynn to having an interview where he was then charged with lying under oath. Look at the text messages between Peter Strzok and Lisa McCabe, how they're going to stop a duly elected president. And if that failed, they had an insurance plan that they hatched with then Deputy Director Andy McCabe. And then you continue on under Christopher Wray. The politicalization just keeps going. Roger Stone, an advisor to the president, mid-60s, arrested with SWAT teams and in CNN suddenly on site to film this. Peter Navarro, a special assistant to the President of the United States, arrested, walked out in handcuffs of Reagan National Airport. So these were clearly politicalization efforts. And then you even look at Christopher Wray. Out of nowhere, under testimony in front of Congress, he brings up the fact that President Trump was perhaps hit with shrapnel. Shrapnel from what? Did someone throw a grenade? No. From the teleprompters? No. And that had to be retracted. So yeah, the FBI needs to change. It's lost its way, and it's got to come back fast.
Where would you begin? How would you advise President Trump?
You know, my theory has always been leadership drives culture. And I think the president has made a good choice with Kash Patel. He's going to be a disruptor. But here's the challenge, Jan, and this is what makes it difficult for him. Who can he trust? Who can Kash trust? The current leadership has been in place for years. And like anything, they probably have selected, and surrounded themselves with like-minded individuals. So here's what I would tell Kash and the president. Find yourself a handful of retired FBI executives who you can put in to key positions and have them do three things. Number one, work to send your message out so nothing's going to get lost in the translation. People you can trust. Number two, advise Kash because he doesn't know the organization. He's a smart guy. He knows the intel community, but he's not know the FBI. And then finally, have those folks try to find replacements because they have to develop a team that he can trust and that will keep sending his message out because there's got to be a very clear vision that he's got to place out. I'm reminded of what Louis Freeh did when he had his bright line policy. If you lie under oath, if you lie under official documents, if you lie in administrative inquiry, you're going to be fired. And he's got to drive this vision with leadership, and that's how you change the culture.
Yeah, and you just said it all. He's a disruptor. Kash Patel's a disruptor. It's kind of what Trump needs, and so perhaps everybody that Kash hires will also be disruptors too. I want to ask you very quickly about what's happening in Chicago, a city I know you love. I used to work there. You were on my show in Chicago. You led law enforcement there for many years. What do you make of Chicago law enforcement right now blocking a proposal that would allow it to cooperate with ICE to detain illegal migrants arrested for crimes?
Oh my God, this is foolish, ill-advised, and potentially dangerous. And let's remember, the citizens want change. They want ICE. You look at the city council meetings, they said in a very loud voice to Mayor Johnson, they want to get rid of the illegal immigration. It's going to overrun the city. We only have to look at New York City and what Mayor Adams did. He reached out, he spoke with Tom Homan. How can we make this work? New York City is overrun, and Chicago should take a page out of their playbook and start focusing on how we can bring, peace back to the streets and get these illegal immigrants out of the city. It's going to overrun Chicago. So work with the federal authorities.
Former FBI agent and former Chicago Police Commissioner Jody Weis. Always great to see you, sir. Thanks for joining us here.
Thank you, Jan. Have a good day.
You too.